हरि ओम। 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 ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So this 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, begins with Arjuna's question, कि what is better, who is a better knower of Upasana, the one who does Vyakta Upasana or the one who does Avyakta Upasana. See, Vyakta and Avyakta are both expressions of Ishvara only. Ishvara Svabhava, ultimate Swarupa, is Avyakta. And Ishvara alone, through his Shakti, Maya or Prakriti, appears Vyakta. So whether we do Avyakta Upasana or Vyakta Upasana, we are doing Upasana of Ishvara alone. There is no difference between Vyakta and Avyakta Ishvara. It's the same Ishvara. Saguna hi aguna hi nahi kachu bheda. Jimi hima upala. Tulsidas ji says, just as there is no difference between water and ice. Both are H2O. But one appears different from the other. Water is liquid, ice is solid. Similarly, there is no difference between Saguna, that is Vyakta Ishvara, and Nirguna, Avyakta Ishvara. Both are same. Bhagwan at the same time is Vyakta also and Avyakta also. If I see through my body, mind, intellect, Bhagwan appears Vyakta. When I transcend my body, mind, intellect, Bhagwan is Avyakta. So it depends on where we are, how we are looking. So Bhagwan says, कि those who are totally devoted to me, my Vyakta Rupa, and performing all actions dedicated to me, have total love for me, with supreme faith in me, they are the best and they attain me. But the one who does Avyakta Upasana, they are my own self. There is no comparison. So those who meditate on Bhagwan as Aksharam, Anirdesham, Avyaktam, Sarvatragama, Achintyam, Kutastham, Achalam, Dhruvam, and following certain discipline in life. What discipline? Sanniyamendriya Gramam, having total control over their senses and their mind. Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha, having Samabuddhi in all times, in all situations. Samabuddhi, Buddhi is our understanding. So our understanding about Ishvara and our faith in Ishvara should not change with changing circumstances. That is called Samabuddhi, holding on to our faith, holding on to our understanding. Whatever happens, good, bad, ugly, we have to maintain our understanding of Bhagwan firm. See, many people, when things are bad, they remember Bhagwan. When things are good, they forget him. Or when their desires are not fulfilled, they become little unhappy with Bhagwan. So their understanding of Ishvara and their relationship with Ishvara keeps on fluctuating with the fluctuating results and events which happen in their life. That is not proper. Vyakta upasana, an upasak should maintain his buddhi sama, same, equanimous at all times. His understanding should remain firm and should revel in the welfare of all beings, because there is no one. He understands the presence of Ishvara in all. So there is no question of loving Ishvara but hating other beings. One should have love and revel in the welfare of all beings, because they are all expression of that same Ishvara. See, just as the sun is one in the sky, but when we look at the various reflecting bodies, even different water bodies and all, we see variety of reflection of the sun. Depending on the quality of the waters, we see different types of reflection. But we know that all this belongs to that one sun only. If I have love for that sun, I will not have hatred towards any of his reflection. I will not say that no, I don't like this, because when I don't like reflection, I am indirectly disliking that sun only. So, upasak should revel in the welfare of all beings. See, more about this Bhagwan will tell later on in the shlokas Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam and all. But here he briefly talks about it. Now the question is, both Vyakta Upasak as well as Avyakta Upasak attains Ishvara. Both of them attain the same Ishvara. So then, is it same or is there any difference? Bhagavan says there is a difference in the upasana. There is no difference in Ishvara. Vyakta Ishvara and Avyakta Ishvara is same. But the upasana and the obstacles and the effort which one has to put forth in this upasana is different. What is the difference? That Bhagavan now reveals in the 5th shloka. Bhagavan says, let us chant. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta chetasam avyakta higatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate. Bhagavan says that kleshaha adhikataraha tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. That one who does avyakta upasana, one whose chetas antakarana is totally tuned and constantly meditating on that avyakta Ishvara, that Nirgun Nirakar Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which was indicated as Aksharam, Nirdesham, Avyaktam, etc. So one whose chetas, whose antakarana is asakta, attached to that Avyakta Ishvara and constantly does upasana of that Ishvara, for such a upasak there is more klesha. Kleshaha adhikataraha. More afflictions More afflictions means even the Vyakta Upasak, they have afflictions, they have to put forth lot of effort and overcome lot of difficulties. But for the Vyakta Upasak, it is more. Shankaracharya ji writes in his commentary कि क्लेशः अधिकतरः means what? He says यद्यपि मत कर्मादि पराणाम क्लेशः अधिक एव. That one who is devoted to Bhagwan's Vyakta Upasana, there is klesha is there. What you call afflictions are there. Difficulties are there. It is not easy. One has to dedicate all our actions to Ishvara. For that we have to drop our attachments, we have to drop our selfishness, we have to drop our possessiveness. Then only we will be able to work and serve Ishvara. One who has attachment for himself and thinks of his own comfort and gain and have selfish attitude, it becomes difficult to serve Ishvara. See, when Sri Ram and Sita ji were going to the forest for 14 years, Lakshmana, he also requested Bhagwan that I also want to come with you. Bhagwan says, you stay here now, you stay here, take care of our parents. I will go alone, along with Sita ji, and then we'll come back. Lakshmana says, no, I want to go with you, I want to be with you, I want to serve you. So Bhagwan accepted finally. So our Lakshmana renounced his comfort. He stayed away from his own wife. He stayed away from all the luxuries of a prosperous kingdom and went to the forest to serve Sri Ram. It is not easy. It is said in the Ramayana that he did not even sleep for 14 years, so that he remains awake, alert, and ever ready to serve Sri Ram, giving up all his comfort, giving up all his selfishness. Sab taji karahu charan raj seva, giving up everything he is to do Bhagwan's seva. Seva of Sri Ram, seva of Sita ji, and with so much of love, dedication, humility, surrender, without having any ulterior motives, not having any negative feeling towards anyone. See, when Sita ji was taken away by Ravan, Ram and Lakshmana went in search of Sita ji, and they met Sugriva. And Sugriva said that we saw that chariot and lady is being taken away, and she dropped some ornaments. So he brought those ornaments and showed them to Sri Ram. So Bhagwan took the ornaments and he recognized them. as Sitaji's. There were some ornaments which she used to wear on her feet, and there were some ornaments which she used to wear in her neck and on her head and all. So Ramchandraji asked Lakshmana that, don't you recognize these ornaments? Lakshmana said, I recognize this ornament which she used to wear in her feet, but other ornaments I don't recognize, because only I used to see her feet, so I recognize only those ornaments. So much dedication, love, sacrifice, selflessness to serve Bhagwan. That is the Vyakta Upasana. It's not easy. So there is lot of effort required. So Bhagwan says that there is klesha in Saguna Upasana also. It is not just emotional singing bhajans and ringing bells and all. Many people, they don't understand the depth of Bhagwan's bhakti. Bhakti, we have to totally dedicate ourselves to Ishvara. Like how Mirabai did, how Tulsidas ji did, how Surdas ji did. Selflessly, giving up our own attachments, our own identification. So Bhagwan says it's difficult. Saguna Upasana, Vyakta Upasana of Ishvara is filled with klesha, but the Nirguna Upasana has got more klesha. Kleshaha adhikataraha. It is more than Saguna Upasana. Klesho dhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam adhika eva kleshaha adhikataraha tu aksharatmanam parmartha darshinam. So those who are totally dedicated to that akshara Brahma, those who have gained the knowledge of that parmartha darshinam, they have to meditate on that Brahma, but in order to meditate on Brahma, what they have to do? Dehabhimana parityaga nimittaha. They have to drop their own attachment to their own body. Then only one can meditate on that Nirgun Brahma. See, suppose if one person is staying in a family and you have all the time you are thinking of yourself, very selfish, but then you are told that you have to think of the whole family, then I have to drop my own selfishness. The mother taking care of the family, she cooks, she feeds all the children. Sometimes she gives special food to everyone, and she gives even food from her own share. Sometimes she herself goes hungry, but feeds everyone selflessly. But you are told that not your family, but think of your society. Then you have to drop your attachment to your family and think of the welfare of the society. Some seva you do in the society or in your community. Hmm? So for that we have to give up our own little identification with our own family. But suppose you are told that you don't think of yourself as belonging to only one state or one community. Don't think of yourself as Delhiite or Maharashtrian or South Indian or North Indian, but think of yourself as an Indian, as a Bharatiya. So in order to meditate on myself as a Indian, Bharatiya, I have to drop my identification with my little family or state. See those soldiers and all fighting for our country. They have to then give up their identification with their own family, their comfort, their selfishness, and they fight for the safety and defense of their whole country. But suppose somebody is told that you think of the whole humanity, Manava. See, when we die and go, our karmas are not judged according to our whether we are Indian or American or something, but our karmas are good and bad, pap punya, depends on ourselves as a human being, Manava. Therefore, the dharma is called Manav Dharma, Manushya Dharma, not Punjabi Dharma or Madrasi Dharma or Indian Dharma. It is Manav Dharma, Sanatan Dharma of Manushya. So when I meditate on Manushya, I have to drop my identification with myself as belonging to one particular community or something. In the same way, when I have to meditate on Nirgun Brahma, I myself have to become Nirgun. I cannot hold on to my own body, to my own personality, to my own mind, intellect, to my likes and dislikes, to my ambitions and memories and all, and meditate on that Brahma. Meditation on Brahma, we have means we have ourselves to become that Brahma. To meditate on Nirgun Brahma, we have to become Nirgun ourselves. Shivo bhutva shivam yajet. Devo bhutva devam yajet. If you want to worship Shiva, we ourselves should become Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham. That is the highest worship. So when we do Nirguna Upasana, we have to drop our identification with our own body. Then only that Nirguna Upasana is done. We can't say that, oh, I am this body, but I am meditating on Bhagwan as Nirguna, free from all gunas. Aksharam, Avyaktam, Achintyam, Sarvatra Gama. But I am this body. That is not Upasana. So in Upasana, in Avyakta Upasana, we have to drop our identification with our gross body, subtle body. So Deha Abhimana Parityaga is required. Therefore, the klesha is adhikatara. See, we have these two strong attachments. One is attachment to all that thing which we call mera, 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 mera. And another is attachment to I, this false personality, false notion about myself, not the real I, the false I, अहंकार. अहंकार से आसक्ति है और ममत्व से आसक्ति है. अहंकार, that I am this body, I am the doer of all my karmas, I am the enjoyer, I am the knower, I, and my. So attachment to I and my is there. But if you compare them, then attachment to I is stronger than attachment to my. I am ready to give up what is mine in order to protect myself. See, a person may be attached to wealth, let us say. My wealth. But if somebody threatens him that I will kill you, you give your wealth to me, otherwise I will kill you. So he says, okay, take the wealth, but please don't kill me. So I am more attached to I, ahankar, than to mamatva. In Vyakta Upasana, we have to drop our attachment for mamatva. And in Vyakta Upasana, Avyakta Upasana, Nirguna Upasana, we have to drop our attachment to both mamatva as well as ahankar. Then only Avyakta Upasana is possible, which Bhagavan we have seen before also, that we have to take karma sannyas before we can meditate. The sense of doership which we have should be dropped. Then only we can meditate on ourselves as that Brahma. So same thing Bhagavan tells here, कि क्लेशः अधिकतरः तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्त चेतसाम्. See in Yoga Sutra, this klesha, 5 types of kleshas are mentioned there. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, and abhinivesh. Means 5 things which causes lot of afflictions in our life. The basic cause is avidya, not knowing ourselves. This gives rise to asmita, a false notion about myself. Ahankar. So not avidya, not knowing that I am Brahma. When I don't know I am Brahma, then I think of myself as karta, bhokta, nyata, identified with these bodies. So that ahankar. And when there is ahankar, there is raga, attachment to some things, and dvesha, hatred or repulsion, dislike towards something. And also because of all this, I have abhinivesh, attachment to life itself and fear of death. Fear of death is there. Because of my identification with my body, mind, because of avidya, because of false this ahankar, there is fear of death. And all this becomes very, very difficult for me. Conflict, afflictions. But still I don't want to give them up. Hold on to them. I don't want to give my raga dvesha. But if we want to do Bhagavan's upasana, then we have to drop all this. So there is klesha in Vyakta Upasana and Adhika klesha, Adhika taraha in Avyakta Upasana. Therefore, Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. Dehavat bhiravapyate. Therefore, Bhagavan says, those who are dehavat bihi, those who have deep attachment to their own deha, to their own body. Which body? Gross body and subtle body. See, though we every day we experience when we go to sleep that I am different from my gross body, and when I am in deep sleep I come to understand that I am different from my subtle body also. They are like outer dress. I just remove them. When I go to sleep, in deep sleep, I remove both the dresses. When I am in dream, I remove one dress. See, gross body is the outermost dress, subtle body, inner dress. So when I dream, gross body is left behind. When I am deep sleep, the subtle body is also left behind. That means I am different from both these bodies. But when I wake up, again I hold on to them. Like those little children, when some new dress is bought for them and they wear it and they become so attached to it that they just don't want to remove those dresses. दिन भर पहन के घूमते रहते, खेलते रहते हैं, गंदा हो गया ड्रेस. Mother says, remove dress and take bath. He says, no, I don't want to remove. So जबरदस्ती उसके कपड़े निकाल के उसको नहलाती है उसकी माँ. So similarly we are become attached to this body, though it is different. So this dehavat bihi, so those who are firmly, strongly attached to their body, Bhagavan says this avyakta upasana is difficult, and the gati of avyakta upasana, that is moksha. One who does avyakta upasana, they gain identification with that Brahma, Aksharatmika. They come to understand that they are of the nature of Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. But those who have attachment to the body, avyakta hi gatir dukkham, for them this gati is dukkha, means it is very difficult, full of pain, sorrow, and very difficult to drop. बहुत कठिन. But those who don't have attachment to their body, for them avyakta upasana is very good, best. सब अटैचमेंट छोड़ दो, भगवान का ध्यान करो. कुछ लेना न देना, मगन रहना. भगवान के निर्गुण इसमें मगन रहते हैं. But those who are attached to this body, for them it is difficult. So, and generally many of us, we are attached to our body. Though we are listening to pravachans, we contemplate, we understand what the Shastras are saying, but still to drop attachment to the gross body and the subtle body becomes very, very difficult. So for those who have such difficulty, for them Vyakta Upasana, Saguna Upasana is best. And the beauty of this Saguna Upasana, Bhagavan tells now in the following 2 verses. He says, ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्. Bhagavan says that those others, bhaktas, who are the Sagun Upasak, they do bhakti of my Vyakta, Sagun Roop, Vishwaroop. And we have seen how bhakti means dedicating all our actions to Bhagavan. Mat karma krita, mat paramaha, mat bhakta, sangavarjitaha, nirvairas sarva bhuteshu, yas samameti pandava. Dedicating our life to Ishvara, dedicating ourselves to Ishvara. So, etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. Again, Bhagavan says, they who have dedicated all their karmas, sarvani karmani. See, one is that we have to do all those karmas which are our duties, should not do nishiddha karma, those karmas which are considered wrong, bad, adharmic, should be dropped. And rest all karmas which are told to be done, they should be done. Yajna dana tapak karma, then our duty towards our own family, our society, towards other beings, towards the devatas, towards the ancestors, towards the rishi munis, because we are indebted to all of them. See, these devatas, without them, our indriyas will not function. Our eyes, ears, nose, everything is controlled, managed by the devatas. So we should be grateful to them. If they are unhappy, हमारी इंद्रिया काम करना बंद कर देती है. We will not be able to smell, we will not be able to see, we will not be able to hear. So all these devatas, they help us to function in this world. So we should be grateful to them. Then we should be grateful to our ancestors, because of them only I have got this body. Without my parents, I will not have this body. Without their parents, they would have not got their bodies. So we should be grateful to our ancestors. Then we should be grateful to the Rishi Munis. Without them, we will not be sitting here and studying Bhagavad Gita. The Shastra we have gained by the blessings of all the great Rishi Munis of the past. Again, we have to be grateful to other beings in this world. They also keep blessing us. So, all these karmas we do, but dedicating them to Ishvara, so that I reach Ishvara. I do karmas with the sole intention that this karma is taking me towards Ishvara. See, when you jump into the river, to cross the river, let us say, you have to swim across the river. So when you jump into that river, you have to keep swimming, moving your hands and legs. If you don't do it, you will get drowned. So you have to keep putting forth effort so that you can cross the river and go safely to the other shore. Similarly, we put forth effort in this world is like swimming, so that our action will take us across this samsara and take us towards Ishvara. So our actions are dedicated to attain Ishvara. That is called dedicating to Ishvara. Huh? Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya and mat paraha, considering Ishvara himself as Param, our Param Gati. ईश्वर को ही प्राप्त करना है. Neither we don't want Swarga, we don't want Brahmalok, we don't want any other things in this world or other world. We only want Ishvara. So, etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya mat paraha ananyena yogena. Ananya yog, अनन्य भक्ति. अनन्य मीन्स और किसी पर आश्रित नहीं रहना है. अविद्यमानम अन्यद आलम्बनम विश्वरूपम देवम आत्मानम मुक्त्वा यस्य स अनन्यः तेन अनन्येन एव केवलेन योगेन समाधिना मां ध्यायन्तः चिन्तयन्तः उपासते. Means one should fully depend only on Ishvara. ईश्वर पर ही आश्रित रहना है. Ishvara blesses us in different ways then. We just take support of Ishvara. Ishvara alone will help us through everyone and everything, because everything is under his control. He is the big boss. So उन्हीं पर आश्रित रहकर उन्हीं से अनन्य प्रेम, अनन्येनैव योगेन माम ध्यायन्तः, and constantly meditating on that Sagun Ishvara. Here now Bhagavan is talking about the Sagun Upasana. So constantly meditating on Sagun Ishvara. Ishvara as this world, Vishwarupa. Ishvara as everyone, the whole world is Ishvara. Everything and everyone is Ishvara alone. भगवान ही है, सब कुछ भगवान है, और उस भगवान से अनन्य प्रेम. So in this way, one who is absolutely dedicated to Ishvara, so what is so special? Bhagavan says that Tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami. Bhagavan says, then I lift them from this samsara. I give them moksha. I lift them from this samsara. See, when we do Sagun Upasana, Bhagavan helps us at every step. Nirgun Upasana is complete in itself. So with my own effort, I move towards my goal. But in Sagun Upasana, Bhagavan helps the devotee. That is the big difference. Tulsidas Ji gives very beautiful example. Like a mother has got two children. So one elderly young boy and a little girl is just born, and she is in the cradle. So she takes care of both of them. So when that boy is hungry, he says, "Oh mother, I am hungry, please give me something to eat." So the mother tells the boy, "You go to that kitchen and open that almirah, and there that box is there, and there I have kept something to eat for you. Laddu is there, which I myself made. So you go and eat." So he goes to the kitchen. He tries to look for that box, but he doesn't find it. So he again comes back and asks mother, please tell me where is it? I searched. He says, अरे उधर है ना दूसरे अलमारी में. So again he goes. So after a lot of struggle, he finds that laddu and he eats and he's satisfied. He's happy. Then another little girl is there in the cradle. She becomes hungry. So what does she do? She cries loudly. So mother comes running to that child and she lifts that child and she feeds her with her own milk. Mother doesn't tell the child कि चलो उठो देखो वहाँ पर रखा हुआ है दूध पी लो. No. The child doesn't understand anything. The child only understands that I am hungry and it cries. It doesn't know where the mother is and whether the mother will listen to my cry and nothing. The child doesn't know anything. The child just cries, but mother knows. Even if she is far away, she can hear the child crying and she comes running and feeds the child. So Sagun Upasak is like that little child. And Nirgun Upasak is that elderly boy, young boy. Both of them are devoted, dedicated to their mother, and mother takes care of both of them. But her style of taking care of both of them is different. She takes care of the little child herself. She picks up that child and feeds. But others, she directs him. जाके देखो. So Nirgun Upasak gains knowledge through the blessings of Bhagwan only, through his Guru, gains the proper understanding of the Tattva, then drops all his attachments, meditate, and attains that self-realization by himself with Bhagwan's grace only, but more put forth effort and attains it. But a Sagun Upasak, he surrenders himself to Bhagwan. भगवान को पुकारता है उनका नाम लेकर. पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे. ओ भगवान, I have to take birth again and die and again is born. I have to sleep in another mother's womb. This samsara is so very difficult to cross. Please take me across this samsara. So Bhagavan says, I lift them from this samsara. Tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Ye samsar, mrityu samsar. This samsara is called mrityu samsar because constantly there is dying only. Constant dying happens. The body dies, the mind dies, the world dies, everything dies and dies. Everything changes. Change itself is death. So one is identified with body, so one constantly experiences one's own death also. मैं बूढ़ा हो गया हूँ, मैं मर रहा हूँ. So mrityu samsar is like a sagar, like an ocean. We don't know what is its expanse and how deep it is. Very difficult to cross this ocean of samsara. But Bhagavan says, you be devoted to me, I will lift you from this samsara. I will hold you to my heart. But कितनी देर लगेगी भगवान आपको आने में? भगवान says, भवामी नचेरात, instantly. You have all these conditions fulfilled. Be devoted 100% to me, and I will immediately come and make you free from this samsara. Bhavami nachirat partha. Nachirat means immediately, without delay. Kshipram. But you should be maya veshita chetasam. Your chetas should be totally merged into me. You should be totally devoted, 100% devoted to me. मुझ पर ही निर्भर होना है. Just like that child is totally devoted, dedicated, surrendered to mother. The little child in the cradle अपने आप कुछ नहीं कर सकती है वो. Totally dependent on the mother. So one who is totally dependent on Ishvara, totally dedicated to Ishvara, does all karmas for Ishvara, Bhagavan says, instantly I remove them from this samsara. Instantly the person becomes free of all their sorrow, pain, affliction, trouble, experiences supreme peace, supreme joy, even while living in this world. Becomes a Jivan Mukta, a Bhakta. Experiences the joy of Bhagavan at all times, in all places, in all situations. Becomes free of all fear, free of all afflictions. तेषाम अहम समुद्धर्ता मृत्यु संसार सागरात भवामि नचिरात पार्थ मय्या आवेशित चेतसाम. So this is the difference. Both Saguna Upasana, Nirguna Upasana, one reaches Ishvara, one attains Ishvara through both. But Nirguna Upasana is little having more affliction, more difficult, because we have to give up not only Mamatva but Ahankar also. But in Saguna Upasana you just have to drop your Mamatva and Bhagavan will lift us from this samsara. Okay? So very beautiful. So more about this Saguna Upasana, Bhagavan will tell now in the following verses, step by step, ki how we can do this Saguna Upasana and attain Ishvara. Elaborately, beautifully, Bhagavan talks about it. We will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care of yourself, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, and listen to these talks. Share my videos with your friends, your relatives in different groups, and do this upasana, sagun or nirgun, as per your choice and liking. Okay? And we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।